Hello, good afternoon. We are here in this event where we are going to talk about the joy of being Hispanic. Today we are inviting Magaly Flores from Mexico, who lives in England and has been representing Mexico in England for a long time. We want to give her a welcome to our event. Thank you, Magaly, for coming today.
Thank you, Empower Bands and everybody are listening to today.
The joy of being Hispanic. Before talking about the joy of being Hispanic, I want to tell you that we are Empower Bands. Who we are. We are a community interest company that is looking to unite and strengthen the Venezuelan community and to promote its culture at international level. Our mission is to support the Venezuelan community across the world and spread its culture and traditions. Our vision is to help our people and to help also to promote our culture. And this event is promoting our culture. Today, we're going to have 45 minutes and we're going to talk about the history, our history, how we became Hispanic, which usually you know in England as a Latin American. But usually the story is about Hispanic. Christopher Columbus' discovery of America on October 12, 1492. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Amerigo Vespucci. And Magaly is going to talk about Mexico, Mexico Independence Day, the language, the Galleon of Manila, which is a very interesting story, and the food, the architecture, and the dance. At the end, you're going to have questions and answers, and the closing of the event. The Hispanic America, Ibero-America, and Latin America. We talk about Latin America, but the fact is that we are Hispanic America, the people who speak Spanish in all the American continent. Also, we are called as Ibero-America. Also, we are called as Ibero-America because it's the people from Portugal and Spain, from the peninsula Iberian that you can see on this map, that had conquered the continent, and which is Portugal conquered Brazil and the Spanish conquered the other side, the 18 countries that we have in America. And then that's Ibero-America. And the other known is Latin America, which is about the people who speak French, like Haiti, Guyana Francesa, French Guyana in South America. And it's not included the French part of United States or the French part of Canada. It's only talking about the South area that speak French, Portuguese, and Spanish. All right. Christopher Columbus made the discovery of America on October the 12th in 1492, 528 years ago. That was the discovery of America when it happens. The people who are coming to the meeting now, can you please silence your computer so that it doesn't make interference, okay? Good, thank you. Okay, so it was Christopher Columbus who made a deal with the Castilians' crown and asked for financing him to discover America. And then, but he was not, he didn't know he was discovering America. He was thinking he was visiting India, but from the other side. He did this voyage the first time in 3 ships, were Pinta, La Niña, and the Santa Maria, which they are very famous and noted as the carabelas. This is Christopher Columbus when he arrived to America. The first voyage that was done to Guanahani is an island in the Bahamas. And because he feels safe, because he was very afraid the trip was too long and he was thinking he will get lost, he called it Holy Savior because San Salvador was the first country he visited because he feels safe in that moment. And it was in the Bahamas. And then he found Cuba and the island of Española, which is Santo Domingo and Haiti for that period. Then he did a second voyage, which it was in the 1493, and it took like 3 years for him to visit all these places. Wait a moment. All right. And on this trip, he found this in the second trip, he brought more people, 1,200 men, to create the colonies of the New World. So that was the second expedition of Columbus. Then after his third voyage, he went to Trinidad and Tobago, and he visited part of Venezuela, South America, of my country. And he got to know South America. So he didn't know, but he discovered South America. In his first voyage, Christopher Columbus went to Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and Cayman Island. He visited, but he got a storm who destroyed his ship, and he had many problems, and he was suffering a lot in that period. He went to Hispanic island, Española, to get reinforced and be able to survive. Columbus, that was his first trip and the last one, and he still, for the most part of the fourth voyage, was failure by almost any standard. Many of Columbus' men died in the last trip. His ships were lost, and no passage to the west was ever found. Columbus never sailed again, and when he died in 1506, he was convinced that he had found Asia, even if the most of the Europeans already accepted the fact that the Americas were unknown new world. But he discovered a new world. But Columbus didn't know. He was thinking he was going to Asia. It was Amerigo Vespucci in 1501 who did the whole trip and found out that America was another continent different from Asia. And therefore, later on, the continent that Amerigo Vespucci found was birthed or was named as his name, and they were called it America. Mexico. Today we're going to make a special note of Mexico because Magaly is with us and she's going to talk about Mexico. Mexico was found by Gonzalo Guerrero, who was made prisoner by the Mayas in Mexico. So he was the first person who found Mexico. After him, it was Hernan Cortés, that I know many people in the United Kingdom know, that conquered Mexico from 1519 to 1521. It was Hernan Cortés who was able to fight and colonize Mexico. And today we have a Magaly Flores, creative director of Colibri, Mexican folk dance. I'm going to talk about her. Magaly Flores, Colibri's artist director, was born in Coyuca de Catalán, Guerrero, Mexico. She is a qualified art teacher in Mexico, specializing in dance and education. After finishing her degree, she joined the Dance Research Center, Centro de Investigación de la Danza, which investigate and help resurrect and protect the culture of many regional folk dance across Mexico. She taught dance courses at different schools and universities and collaborated with several leading dance directors and producers, including Maria Suarez, Efraín Vélez, David Moyoa, and Juan Carranza. She is currently working full-time in the primary education sector in the UK, Manchester to be precise, promoting both the Spanish language and wider Mexican culture. She is using her experience as a professional trained dancer to deliver dance classes in primary schools, Magaly's aim as an artist director is to help ensure that these dances are performed and shared with the next generation. Colibri Dance, founded by Magaly in 2016, and Colibri are an established dance troupe of native Mexican showcasing traditional Mexican dance throughout the northwest of England and beyond. They are very proud to promote their culture, of their beauty and the country. Colibri Mexican folk dance. Colibri is a vibrant performance have been enjoyed by thousands of people at events including Manchester Days 2017 and 90, Oaxaca Day of the Dead, Manchester International Day, Mexican Independence Day, Liverpool Central Library Glasgow, Skate Park, H. Hill University Art Center, Durham University Symposium, Birmingham University, Instituto Cervantes, and Manchester Central Library, and many more. The group has also performed and at several occasions for the Mexican Consulate and Ambassador to the UK, and regularly collaborates with Walk, the Plant Art Group. Colibri have successfully 3 annual Mexican dance showcases, the latest at the prestigious Bury Meat Arts venue, following previous sell-out shows of Shorton and the, I can't read down there, sorry, and it's very good.
Waterside Art Center.
Thank you, because I don't have, something is covering the line. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
All right, so with you is Magaly Flores. She's going to explain more about this event. So Magaly, you can talk about our culture, our language. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelica. Well, again, thank you. Thank you, Angelica, for inviting me to take part in this event and giving me the opportunity to share my experiences of what it is like to be Hispanic. For me, being Hispanic is the very heart of me. I am very proud of my heritage. I am descending from both European settlers and indigenous people. And the mix of that is what makes me who what I am. Well, now before I go into the language, are you just going to quickly go to the Independence Day, but the independences of Mexico? It happening. It was the consequences of a political process and social and political process in 1810, and it ended in 1821. I'm not going to stop much on Independence Day because previous to the independence, we do have why we are here, how proud I am of to be Hispanic. We're going to start. I'm going to introduce, well, the first thing that it's like Angelica said, of being Hispanic, which is the speaking of the Spanish language. Can we go back to the language, please? Oh, sorry. Yes, as you see, I'm not going to stop much. In the 16th century, Spain built its empire in the Americans, and it brought their language with them. Today, Spain is home to less than 10% of the world's Spanish speakers. There are many Spanish-speaking countries in the world, as Spanish is the official language in the following 20 countries, as well as Puerto Rico, as you see on the slide. I'm not going to stop. Every time I speak or I talk about this to my children in the schools, they do really love it because they are amazed how many countries in the world they do speak Spanish, and obviously that made me feel very proud of it. With the Spanish, you can express so deeply when compared to another languages. Well, that is my own personal point of view. For example, by using many different adjectives to describe things and feelings in such a beautiful way. And I think if somebody asked me which language you would like to speak, I always going to say the Spanish, even though I do like speak English now, but I think I feel in myself, I express myself so deeply in my own tongue language, and it is the Spanish. Yeah, and it is spoken by 580 million people, and 483 million of them are native speakers. It is the third most spoken language in the world after English and Chinese. And that it also was one of the things I love to be or to speak Spanish. So yeah, how we're going back to the galleons of Manila. During the pandemic, I was invited to take part in a history workshop with the Anthropological Museum, where I learned about of the galleon. And I was inspired to learn about the cross-cultural exchanges between two very distant countries over hundreds of years. I do remember when I was a little girl and we did this, I heard of the first word, the galleons of Manila. I didn't know how many years this process of trade it had been take until about a few months ago, which is the galleons cause an unprecedented cultural exchanges between Mexico and the Philippines. And these galleons were huge ships developed in the mid 16th century that were the most powerful ships in the world. And that's why Spain selected them for this trade that lasted for over 250 years. That is what I didn't believe myself. 250 years of this. It is a huge amount of time with this marketing, and it was very interesting because as Angelica introduced where I came from Guerrero, which that is the state where I came from, and Acapulco. It is located in Guerrero in Mexico, and I do remember my parents, they were always talking about it was a feria kind of fiesta of the Noah or Chinese Noah, and it was about this this event that had been between Mexico, Acapulco, and the Philippines, where they carry on silk, porcelain, spices, fine food, vases from Asia, gold and silver from America, and sometimes this could cause controversial because it now involve gold and silver, which is very precious metals, as well as diverse other goods from Europe. That is very interesting, as you see in the slides, is they call this journey, they call it tornaviaje. Tornaviaje is like return traveling between, it was a route between 1565 until the 1815. And it was so interesting when I was reading and knowing about this, because on the way go to Manila was they have to be always in the months in between March and July, and the journey was during that's 3 months, and it took a long time for Agustino de Undaneta that discovery that on the way to return, on the way go back, it did find another route. It was easy to traveling from Acapulco to Manila, because must remember on those days, well, until now, if they were returning from the same way as you see on the slide, the sea was very, 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 the water, there were so many turbulences, and sometimes they didn't survive. So later, when they did discovery on the way back, they could go down, as you see on the bottom of the line. And the journey back, it was just have to make between July and January, and it took 4 to 5 months. So I did put myself onto that ship, and it was just like, it really amazed me, because this trade, it take 50 years of this. And between those, we're going to talk about food, and we're going to talk about materials like silk, that when I talk about dance, I'm going to share a little bit of my own experience. So we could go to food now, which I'm going to start. Yes, so that there are lots of established food that the most people think have always come from Europe. This is not the case, as there are some examples of the many types of food that actually originated in Mexico, and we were brought back to Europe by the Spanish. The Spanish introduced a mix of staples and cooking techniques to Mexico and Latin America. Then cells influenced by 8 centuries, and going back to the Arab rule. But before I go to talk about what the Spanish brought us, I'm going to talk about the food we giving to Europe, or we will share into Europe. And that is what another things I really love to talk about food, because when you go and try different dishes, and the mix of the two cultures, I think that the produce of the dishes, they are very amazing. Like we have the avocado, which everybody know now is we make guacamole, so everybody know guacamole. Then we have beans, frijoles, that is another food. Cocoa, with is the plant, or chocolate, that is another fact. My children, they absolutely love it when I say that chocolate is coming from Mexico. And as everybody knows, chiles. Corn is the basic substance that the Mexicans we have. Everybody know that the Mexicans, we cannot live without corn, like tortillas. We eat in tortillas every single day. That's part of the daily food. And papaya is one of my favorite, or I have to say it's my favorite fruit, papaya, and I eat it every morning with my breakfast, because it's very good for you. It took me a long time in the first years of I was living in England. It was very, very, very difficult to find papaya, but now luckily you can see them in all the supermarkets. If you haven't tried, it's a strange flavor. It's very sweet. It's like mango, but because the texture is very similar, but it can be the smell can you put you off at first. But try it. I recommend it to have papaya every day in the morning. Then we have obviously tomato. And another fact of foods that my children, they absolutely love it, is when I say the turkey. We brought it brought back in Europe for the Mexicans, and they don't believe me first until I asked them to go and research, and then they said, "Oh yes, miss, you are right," because how are you going to believe the turkey came from Mexico when it's one of the main dishes, or the special dish to eat in Christmas? Is in Christmas. So Yes, so and it's very interesting. The other thing, like the Spanish, yet importantly, they brought the Spanish brought the domesticated animals such as pig, cows, chickens, goats, and sheep for both for meat and milk, raising the protein consumption of the locals, and the cheese became the most important dairy product. While the most important cooking technique the Spanish introduced was frying. It's something like I didn't know until I was researching a little bit more today. Frying is like a technique, like I thought it's been on. So the turkey meat has been eaten by indigenous people from Mexico and Central America since ancient times. In the 15th century, Spanish conquistadors took Aztec turkeys back to Europe. So, so this is interesting. Like we both get in, I would say, get something, and it was so lovely, like knowing that the dishes you can or we can eat is because it's the result of the two mixtures cultures, no? So we can go to maybe the architecture. I just feeling like I'm just talk, but that is all about this. So you will have maybe Angelica can maybe add a little bit more later. So the architecture of, I'm not going to, again, I am not an expert in architect, but when I was talking to Angelica, I said, look, I'm just going to, can I choose a city, a specific city where I can talk about it? Because Morelia, they actually called them until now, they call Morelia, but they say Valladolid, hoy Morelia. It was built in the 16th century, and Morelia is very special to me. Morelia is an outstanding example of urban planning, which combines the idea of Spanish culture with the Mesoamerican experiences, let's go to say like that. Its streets still follow the original layout. More than 200 historic buildings, all in the regions, the characteristics, they are like made of pink stones, reflects the town's architectural historic with a blend of Baroque and neoclassical elements. Morelia was the birthplace of several important personalities of the Independence Day, independence of Mexico. They came later on and have played a major role in the country's history. In 1991, the city was declared the UNESCO World Heritage Site for its well-preserved colonial buildings and layout for the historic center. As you see, the cathedral is the one on your left, on the top left-hand side. Is so beautiful. If you go one day to Mexico, you have to go and explore this beautiful city. Then we have on the top, on the right-hand side, as one of the street on the center. But basically, the whole city, the center is just like that. Then we have on the bottom the aqueduct. This aqueduct, when I was sending the photographs to the Angelica, this aqueduct, I was walking for 5 years. 5 years of walking in those streets when I was training to be a dance teacher. Then on the bottom, we have Casa de la Cultura, which I used to take so many lessons in all my lessons of dance, ballet and contemporary and folklore dance, no, traditional Mexican dance. That is why I am so proud of Morelia, and I really, really, really recommend them if you can go because it's so beautiful city, which is very similar to so many cities in Spain. When I am in Spain, I feel in home because that reminds me Morelia, and like Morelia, there are another cities in Mexico. They are very similar, like in Zacatecas is another city. And then when I am in Spain, there are so many buildings. They remind me my own country and feeling home. So that's what I wanted to choose, Morelia, Michoacan, which is in a state. And actually now I remember in Morelia, in Michoacan, in this state, in whole Mexico, we do celebrate the Day of the Dead. I know we're not talking about today about the Day of the Dead, but this place, this county in Mexico, is one of the major centers where they do this. Let's go to say festival. I don't really like say festival because it's so special for the Mexicans. It's not so. But that is another. Maybe it's another talk, Angelica, that we can go back to that in Michoacan. But then Michoacan is one of the counties where they do celebrating in such a beautiful day. And again, I recommend if you have a chance in November, it is amazing. It's magical, and I'll really recommend it. So I don't know how we are at the time, but let's go to talk about dance, which yes, like okay, in the photograph is me. And again, I'm going to introduce why Mexico is such, the diversity of dances in Mexico is huge, is immense. But today, I'm just going to concentrate to talk about Veracruz, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Veracruz is the port where the first españoles or conquistadores arrived. So Veracruz is the typical outfit you seen on the photograph. That's the ones we are going to talk. Folk dance in Mexico have traditionally been a way of honoring the Mexican culture and a representation of the struggles and joys of daily Mexican life. Folk dances origins in Mexico are found in Mesoamerica times, in which natives perform dances to appeal to Mayan, to Aztec, and Aztec gods. Later on, when the Spanish arrived during the 16th century, European dances like court dances and polka were infused with indigenous choreographies. But this one, Veracruz is, which I'm going to talk about the outfit, the music, and the tap dancing, is in this state in the east central of Mexico. And it's Mexico, the subject in Mexico itself have a massive diversity, as I said, of different dances across the country that have been evolved over the years. But Veracruz is have the Spanish influence of the culture of Mexico is very, very a part in the Veracruz dance form. And an important trait in front of Gulf of Mexico, Veracruz displays some blend of Spanish indigenous. Also, these dances, son Veracruzano, have a lot of influences, and I'm going to tell you when I show you a little bit about the features of the outfit. They have a Cuban, African culture, and as Spanish ones. And this is extremely well demonstrated in the dance form as well. Veracruz traditional dance is the fandango. Fandango, I'm not promoting Mexico here, but I do at the same time, because when you need to go and see one of these fandangos in Veracruz, is when people on the streets, very similar to the ones flamenco they do in Andalusia, they are outside in the streets and they dance this fandango, and you're going to feel very familiar, because one of the songs is like La Bamba, and everybody know La Bamba, which that is came from this county from Veracruz, which includes the huapango, which is meant to be danced on wooden plank of the jarocho. La Bamba is one of the early songs jarochos, which is performed by dancers tying a red boat with their feet to symbolize, let's go say, everlasting love. So we've been doing dancing. When we do dance this La Bamba, everybody get impressed when we do the boat with when we are dancing. So the son jarocho, that's the style of music, and it's a style of mestizo, we call traditional music from the 19th century. Now Hernán Cortés, going back, who conquered Mexico, founded the city of Veracruz. Now I just been in these holidays to Caravaca de la Cruz, where is the Vera, and that's why they call Vera Cruz, because it's a cruz or a cross, yeah, a cross, and that's why they call Veracruz. And he named that because he arrived in Veracruz on a Good Friday on the 22nd of April on the 1519, and obviously because it was Veracruz, he said, okay, it's a Good Friday and I'm going to name this city as Veracruz. Now I'm going to just talk about the outfit. As you see, the outfit is I'm going to start from the top. The boys, they wear white trousers and white shirt, smart shirts that it make of cotton, and because the temperatures there is very hot, they wear long sleeves, and they tied around the neck a handkerchief, we call in Mexico paliacate. In the old days, depends if you were well off, you used to wear like a silk paliacate or handkerchief, silk, make of silk. Now is lots of people, especially if you wear a pheasant, it was made of cotton. We use a red ribbon. I don't know if you can see it. It's a red ribbon around your head, which is has an influence of African culture there on the top of your head, and we use flowers around the head, that if it goes on your right hand, that's mean because you are married, but if the people put on your left hand side, is because you are not married, you are still single. And then the flowers normally are natural flowers. In our case, we use fake ones, and it can be carnation red flowers. Then we have a huipil, that is a long dress under the big skirt. You can see it there. Huipil is the special name, we name the indigenous people, they call it. It's a long, it's like a long material going under your skirt, and just then now I still call them huipil under the skirt. Then we have a short on the top, which it is work around your shoulders and fastened on the chest, holding by a camafeo. Camafeo is camafeo, I think it's like a brooch you handing on the top. You cannot see it on the photograph. And again, we see the very influence of the Hispanic. The dress is took it from Valencia, Andalusia, Spain, because they have this different kind of lines, like where we took it from there. The only thing is, like in Mexico, we took it like pretending they were the waves of the sea, and that's why it coming in that it's in white color, but because the engineers, they used to wear a lot of white, but depends of the region, you can see them, because I was reading, I can't remember where, it must have to be white. It doesn't have to be white. It can be a different color as well, and always depend of what regions you are you dancing. El son jarocho. Jarocho is a word like you call the native people from that area. Then you have again another shawl going around again, very similar to the ones they were in Spain, but in red. In that case, it was my choice to always wear the red one. Then again, you wear a half apron with flowers, embroiderment flowers around the half of black apron. The man can wear, or the men, they can wear hats made of palm, because again it's very, very hot, so that it helps to protect with the sun, because it's very, very, very hot. They were in another gold in those days. People, they could wear necklace made of gold. Now we don't wear it. This is just fake all. And the fan again brought it by the Spaniards, because it was very hot. So people, I still they wearing on daily days until these modern times. El abanico, called abanico, which is fun. And well, and that is kind of more or less the instruments they are playing in the son jarocho. Very interesting again, because it came in again, it's a mixture of different cultures, but it's a little, they call jaranas, it's a little guitars, some guitars that they make similar sounds of guitar. Then it's an harp, and then it's a wooden box where they produce different sounds as well. What I can say is fandangos, they do dance on the streets in mods all the time when it's fiesta times. So yeah, so, and with those photographs we did perform, that it was the last time we did a performance in the Manchester Day. As Angelica said, we've been cancelled the last one, as everybody know, it was like because the pandemic thing. Yeah. And yeah, so that's what I cannot complain, how enriched men we are, so happy to have the mixture of the two continents. Gracias, Angelica.
Thank you, Magaly, for such a beautiful explanation about Mexico, Morelia, this beautiful town. I would like to go with you. I want you to be my tour guide. I want you to be my tour guide.
Sí. Yes, you are welcome, and I will recommend. That area is so interesting because near Morelia as well. I am sure you hear about monarch butterfly. So the monarch butterfly was the one who's emigrated from Canada to Mexico, and is in this area, which again is really related to this. The native. They do believe that this butterfly is the soul of the people who come to visit us and stay with us. So the butterfly is in Mexico between November to February. So it's good time to go and visit Morelia between November and February. It is beautiful.
And it's hot?
It is not hot. It's not hot. In Morelia, it can be very hot during the summertime. But during winter, let's go to say that I do remember, remember between, well, it's not cold, but it could go in the night times, it could be the temperatures, they could go up to 6.
I see.
And then during the day with the sun, the good things I guarantee is a beautiful bright sky, sky, and beautiful sky. It could go up to 24.
Okay.
If I do remember, when I was a student, I remember to be very, very cold in the morning, and then at the end of the during the midday, it was a little bit very hot. So
yeah. Well, I can say I'm very happy to meet Magaly, because she's for me, she's a alive culture of Mexico. And I feel very identified with her. As a Latin American person, I feel you represent our culture. Somehow Mexico represents us, and you have a very beautiful heritage in Mexico about all the Spanish colony and our heritage, and I feel so identified. I'm very proud of your work, Magaly. I'm very happy you are doing this, and that you are in England, in United Kingdom, spreading this culture and making people know who we are and what we do. Obviously, you represent Mexico, but I feel part of what you are representing. So I'm very happy to have you here, and I'm very happy with your work. And I follow you, and I'm fans.
Thank you very much. Now it's my honor. It's my honor because, as you say, it is lovely to share and to compare. Well, not compare. It's not a competition. To see the similarities that we do have all as Latin American or Spanish or now sometimes we don't know how we call how you want to call, depends, but we do speak Spanish, and that is like amazing. We can express ourselves each other without without thinking in English. That sounds strange, but yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much to everybody who were listening to me and to listen to us. It was my pleasure and my honor.
Yes, I would like to know if somebody from the people who are now with us today, if you want to do any question to Magaly. Is there any question? Jaros, raise the hand. Okay, I'm going to allow you to talk. Sorry, because I have everybody in silence. Yes, Jaros. I think you can now, Jaros. Try. Let me see. Sometimes not easy. Allow him to. Can you talk now, Jaros? I'm asking you to unmute, so you can unmute, Jaros. Yes, we can hear you, Jaros, now.
No, I cannot talk. Yeah. But I sent a message. You can read it.
Okay, no problem. I will read it because at the moment he cannot talk. I want to keep him silent, and I'm going to read the message in the chat. Let me see. Sorry, sometimes it's not easy to find the chat. I don't, oh, chat, okay. Okay, Yaro say he cannot talk at the moment because he's in a situation where it's too noisy where he is. But he say, I want to thank everybody in this webinar because it is important to promote our culture. This kind of webinar provides a knowledge and a skill for many people. Unfortunately, nowadays we are losing our culture. You cannot see traditional dancers and performance. Young people are interested in other things. Congratulations. Exactly. That's the reason why we decided to do this event, and we also want to do more other events. Magaly and me, we have been talking about also other of our traditions. And Mexican Dia de los Muertos is a very important day, and we hope to talk about many different events or our culture so that we can spread our culture. And by Magaly talking to us about Mexico or us talking about Venezuela and say what is our culture. So our culture will not die. Our culture can continue and we can give this as a heritage to our family, our kids, and the future generation. I think it's very important. So any other question? All right, so it's no questions. Want to thank Magaly, choreographer, teacher, historic, and researcher about dancer. And you can find Magaly in Colibri Mexican Dance. This is her Gmail. You can follow her also in Facebook, in her website. She have her YouTube, which is new now, and she also have Twitter. So you want to continue following Magaly and see what she's doing, you can follow her here. We have done questions and answers, and we're doing the closing of the event. We are in power events, and we are also trying to spread our culture and making us to be known and make part of this history and make our culture to be known in United Kingdom. Thank you everybody for coming. This is the end of our event, and we finished today. And thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you.
Adios.
Adios.